Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I'm LaWanna Bradford and I'm excited because today we have a very special guest. We're going to take you through the journey of his writing experience, what it means to be a profitable, money-making author, none other than Brian K. Wright. Brian K. Wright is a best-selling author. He's a writing coach. He is a radio show host and the editor of an amazing magazine. And we're going to get into that as well. So in just a moment, we will see Mr. Brian K. Wright. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I'd like to just talk to you about and get your insight on the business of writing. Because many people are excited, right? I've checked off this bucket list. I've written my book. And then they're disappointed because people aren't running to Amazon or to any online bookstores to buy their book. They have, very limited sales. So if you could just sort of unpackage some tips on how to monetize the book beyond the sale.
Sure. A lot of people do aspire to sell thousands and thousands and even millions of copies. Very few people actually do that. In fact, I believe the average book will sell maybe 250 copies in its entire lifetime. So then the question begs, as you asked, how do I make money writing my book? I would say that you can make a lot more money with what you do with the book when it's done than you do actually selling it. When I work with my clients, I talk to them about leveraging their books into speaking opportunities, because sometimes when you speak on stage, you have a chance to promote your book on stage. You have a chance to sell your book on stage. You have a chance to sell your book in the back of the room. The event planner you're speaking for might have a budget to buy a copy for every single person in the audience at a discounted rate, and then you get to sign everyone's book and talk to them individually after it's done. You feel like a celebrity when you get to do that. I have also done Barnes & Noble bookstore signings with one of my books. When I did a book with Morgan James Publishing, they had distribution. That's the advantage of working with a publisher, is they have distribution to major bookstore chains. And so I did probably 15 Barnes & Noble book signings in the Phoenix area to promote that book over the course of maybe a 12-month period. You can start mastermind programs. You can start coaching programs. You can host retreats around the topic of your expertise, because honestly, you can charge way more to speak at an event. You can charge way more to host an event and have people pay to attend. You can charge way more for a mastermind with recurring monthly or annual fees than you can selling a $20 book. And so people can make a lot of money when they look beyond just the book. The book is not the end. It is the beginning of a much bigger journey. And so the book is a tool for you to get there. The book is not the final piece to the puzzle. It's what you do with the book once you're done that can make a very lucrative income for you.
I like what you said, that the book is the beginning, not the end.
I would also say, in terms of promoting the actual book, a lot of people make the mistake of not promoting the book anymore a day or two after it's done. In fact, I had a client ask me the day after launch, do I need to post again? Yes, this is your baby. You don't stop feeding your baby just because it's born. You have to continue the journey. In fact, one thing I did with my greatest lessons I learned from my dad and greatest lessons I learned from my mom, I wrote a book that I have an excuse to promote every year. I mean, think about this. Why do musicians do Christmas albums? Because the stations that play Christmas music hopefully will play their music for a whole month every single year. I mean, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, she makes at least $2 million every single year on that one song. So yeah, she's very happy to have created a song that will live on and on and on and on. Think about Michael Jackson's Thriller song. It gets played on Halloween every single year. You think about Prince when he had his song 1999. I'm guessing he was probably forward thinking enough back in the early 1980s that People might all of a sudden rediscover a song in the year 1999 and it got played nonstop for an entire year. But the idea being, if you create something where you have an excuse to bring it out over and over and over again, it's a great hook.
Yeah, I like what you said, and I also love the examples that you gave. And like you said, with your book, every year there's a reason to say, "Oh, and by the way," right? Yeah. And you always you always have the opportunity to attract new readers who may not even know about you.
Yeah. In fact, I moved back to my hometown 3 years ago, and a lot of people know that I'm an author, but when I post my books on social media, a lot of the people I grew up with who know my parents very well all bought my books.
I love that.
So, yeah, you've got a built-in audience. People that you went to school with will probably say, "Oh my gosh, you wrote a book. I'll buy it. I'll support you." The people in your current network, your business network, your personal network, they will buy books. In fact, here's a trick. If you have posted your book on Amazon, ask people to buy multiple copies. Ask people to buy 10 copies of your book to give away to the people that they love the most. And you might even give people a freebie or an incentive of some kind if they could show you proof of purchase that they bought a certain number of copies, like 5, like 10. You might give them a free download of something. You might give them a free audio of a masterclass. You might give them a free ticket to your event that you're hosting if you're hosting an event, but give them a reason to buy more than one book. Obviously, they don't necessarily need 10 copies of your book, but if they keep one and give the other 9 away, those are people who may then want to invest with you and buy whatever else you've written.
F. Scott Fitzgerald stated, "Don't write because you want to say something. Write because you have something to say." There are thousands of people waiting to read your book and hear your message. Be a guest on the Power of the Pen TV series. To complete your application and schedule your interview, call 404-618-2824 today. The world is waiting for you.
Power of the Pen with LaWanna Bradford, expanding the impact and influence of authors from around the world. If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write, said Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Books are uniquely portable magic. Power of the Pen spotlights authors from around the world. Listen as authors share messages that educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain. Join us each Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
So it's really...
From a segregated military to modern movements for justice, this book uplifts the stories often left in the margins. With a rare blend of poetic grace and historical insight, Bradford moves beyond retelling American ideals. She reimagines them through the lived lens of those too often pushed to the margins. Black women who carried burdens and dreams, indigenous ancestors whose sacred truths still echo, immigrant allies who stood shoulder to shoulder in faith and sacrifice, and unsung patriots who, despite betrayal, still believed in the promise of America. Our Pledge of Allegiance is a love letter to resilience, a reckoning with history, and a call to rise, not with bitterness, but with clarity, conviction, and hope. It's a reminder that patriotism is not silence, it is speaking truth while holding the flag in one hand and faith in the other.
So it's really interesting. I mean, going back to music examples again, you want to create super fans. My favorite artist is Elton John. Back in the day, I would buy everything he did because I'm a super fan. So if you've created something at least once that is mind-blowing and amazing, and the next thing you do is also mind-blowing and amazing, I probably will commit to buying whatever you do for the rest of your career. That's the kind of audience you want. If you've got, let's just say, 1,000 super fans in your back pocket, you can make a pretty decent living. Whether you're releasing a book, whether you're releasing a masterclass, whether you're planning an event, if you've got a fair number of them raise their hand and say, yeah, I'll do that. And they'll tell others. Remember, I mean, you and I are probably about the same age. You remember that shampoo commercial way back in the day? And they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
Yes.
If you create something great, it's always better. And this is one of my favorite mantras. It's always better to have a happy customer with a big mouth than an unhappy customer with a big mouth.
Yeah.
Because the unhappy customers usually have a much bigger mouth.
I love these examples. I mean, this is just brilliant. And sometimes we overthink things, but these are low-hanging fruit, and it's no cost. Like you said, if you're speaking at an event and you can have a conversation with the host to say, well, I have these books. This could be part of the package. You know, you attend and you also get this book. And just really, really good. Very, very creative ideas of how we can begin to monetize. And I love what you said about the super fan. I didn't think of wording it that way, but yeah, you want to create this following, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And write magazine articles. I publish Ultimate Achievers Magazine, and LaWanna, you're a subscriber and a very faithful author, and I'm very glad that you're in my I don't want to say pen of authors that write with me, but that's basically it. So just do a lot of writing, because someone will notice you and you will have no idea how it happened. It's because you kept planting seeds. So just write something every day. In fact, I would say if you're struggling to know what topic your book should be about, if you've journaled, you probably will have some great ideas, especially if certain topics keep coming up over and over and over again. That might be a clue that this is something you shouldn't just keep to yourself between you and your diary or journal, but you maybe should consider sharing it with the world. And I will also say, please make sure you've solved the problem that you've been marinating on before you write a book, because people are looking for solutions to their problems. They're not looking to just commiserate with you, because if you don't have a solution to the problem you're talking about, people are just going to think you're whining, and no one wants to listen to a whiner for very long, especially if they spent money on it. They're going to be really upset.
No, exactly. So let's talk to just a little bit of, going to go back in time, your journey of writing. What prompted you to, number one, just because some people say, well, I don't really like to write, but this is a gifting that you've tapped into and have continued throughout your lifespan. And now you're showing up in so many different ways and helping other people through expressing their thoughts and ideas in writing. Yeah. Where did that come from? Was it always there? Was that always a gift, or was that something you had to really work to cultivate?
I think it's a little bit of both. I've always wanted to be a writer. When I was in elementary school and I had my homework done and I was sitting in study hall, I would write episodes of TV shows that I was watching, Lost in Space, the Underdog cartoon. I would write episodes with the established characters. And so I wasn't creating my own universe I wasn't writing the next Star Wars. I was writing stuff that I was already familiar with, and I would just create new adventures for all these characters to be on. And it was a lot of fun. And in fact, in high school, I started trying to write a time travel novel, and I wrote myself into a corner and gave up. So, that's something you learn as a writer too, I didn't know a lot about time travel. I think my conundrum was I put my characters back in time and I didn't know how to get them back to the present day. And so I just gave up. But It does stretch the imagination. If you do write every day, it will stretch your imagination. And not everything you write is going to be amazing. In fact, I think I read, oh gosh, I saw a Facebook post. I'm trying to remember now who the musician was. Well, I know, okay, Dolly Parton is one of the most prolific songwriters out there right now. She's written thousands and thousands of songs,
Yes.
but not all of them are hits. In fact, you have to write a lot of stuff that maybe isn't great before you stumble on something that is. And sometimes when you're in the flow, you will have a zone of genius that you just can't stop. In fact, did you know that Dolly Parton wrote I Will Always Love You and Jolene in the same evening?
I didn't know that she wrote them in the same evening.
Yeah, that was a multi-million dollar night for her.
Wow.
So sometimes lightning strikes, and when you get that inspiration, write until you cannot write anymore. Don't just stop and say, oh, I'm going to stop after 30 minutes, because you can't just flip on and off the inspiration. When something grabs your attention, run with it until you can't run anymore. What's upcoming for me? Well, continuing to produce my weekly radio show called Success Profiles Radio. Still continue to produce my magazine, which is called Ultimate Achievers Magazine. You can go to ultimateachieversmagazine.com if you want to check it out. And probably will work on my next book sometime in the near future. If you want to talk to me about your next book idea, go to callwithbrian.com and set up a time. You can email me, brian@briankWright.com, and I'd be glad to talk with you about whatever your questions are.
Fantastic. Brian, this has been so great. Thank you so much for sharing. I just hope everyone follows you.
If I can say one more thing, you are a part of my Facebook group, Authorpreneur Live. It's a private Facebook group, but it is free to join. So find Authorpreneur Live on Facebook and let me know that you heard about us in the show here, and I'll admit you.
Love it. Thank you so very much, Brian. I appreciate you. To our listening audience, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week for a special edition of Power the Pen. Bye.
One of the things that has changed in today's environment is most people have a mindset that being an author is a solo journey. Well, it can be if you choose to be in that old mindset and stay in that box of limitation. But when you realize that it's a team sport, for lack of a better word, and that there is brilliance in the partnership, suddenly that message begins to echo and resonate around the world. And I'm excited because today I have an amazing partner and friend, and who is my publicist of the Bradford Group and the Bradford Group Consulting, who will be joining us. And we're going to talk about partnerships, but also what she does to help me and others to expand our impact, our influence, and our income. And before we get started, I'll let you see a little video that introduces her brilliance. Welcome, Dr. Tamara Patzer, aka Tammy. How's it going?
Great. That sure brought back a lot of good memories.
You've done a lot of amazing work, and it's still continuing. And you were the first person that I thought of to kick off our resource series for authors. I couldn't think of anyone better fit because of your breadth and depth of experience in messaging, in mass communication, right? Because we can go to Google University all day long. It tells us what to do, but not so much how to do it. And the thing that we miss when we get into Google University is we lose the lens of that expert who can give us that feedback, who can help us to course correct. And for the past, I can't believe it's been 4 years, Tammy.
Wow.
You have been the publicist for my company, the Bradford Group and the Bradford Group Consulting. And I didn't realize how important it was to have someone partnering with me to help me navigate this maze of messaging and communication.
Wow. Wow. 4 years. And it really is a puzzle. And the time that people waste thinking that they can get all the information from Google is amazing to me, because I mean, they literally can spend years stumbling around until they find their path. When if you work with someone, you can like erase years and go from invisible to visible, sometimes literally in days, not weeks, but days. And because of my educational background, I have the master's degree in mass communications. I went to Eckerd College for creative writing and business. So I built my foundation up. And then, of course, I went on to University of Oregon for mass communications there. And I also taught mass communications at several colleges in Florida, including the University of South Florida in Tampa. And I created a social media certification program for Florida Gulf Coast University. So what I did that's important for people to know who are looking at publishing and media and marketing is to mash it up. You need to understand what I call old school media, which would be broadcast, television, radio, newspapers, magazines. Mash it up to new media, which would be Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, whatever the flavor of the day of social media is now. And you have to mash it together. And I call that a new media mash, because you are creating this foundation, and you said it is your message, it is your marketing, and publishing is like one of the fastest ways you can create that authority, that celebrity status, that expert status. So it's important, but it doesn't stop with that book. That's literally a foundational piece. And most people, they don't understand that it doesn't stop with the publication or even bestseller status. That's the beginning, and it's beyond the bestseller.
I love what you're saying there. And for me, coming from the lens of a strategic lens, so as a 30-year serial entrepreneur and strategist, and as well as financial analyst, so I kind of mash those elements together, and I help clients realize when we're having this conversation about messaging, I can help you develop the strategy, the what you need to do, and even the how, but the execution is then where the handoff comes to individuals such as yourself, who now have the expert, as you said. Now you're in this this hybrid environment, taking traditional messaging with the current environment, and creating this unique intersect to enhance the visibility, the impact, and as your banner is saying, to promote, to create impact, influence, and income. And we hear those buzzwords a lot. We help you to create impact, influence, and income. But I want to, for the audience, to kind of unpackage what those words mean, because people sometimes get so used to saying things, they really have a limited understanding of what we mean. So in your lens, when you're talking about working with authors, how do you help them to create impact first, income, influence second? And we know income is a byproduct of those two.
Right. Well, to me, what impact is, it's most of us have this big message and this big mission. So when you become an author, you are able to share your heartfelt reason, your big why. So the impact part is when you become an author and you leverage it, you're able to impact more people and attract more people. For me, it's all about omnipresence. And what that really means is if you're using your author status properly, people will say, haven't I seen you out there? Or I see you everywhere. And when people say that to me, I know that I'm making an impact, and that's the start of it. And influence, again, influence and impact go hand in hand. But the way that I call it blue ocean authority, and blue ocean, the strategy means, that is more of a business type thing. But blue ocean authority is where you become the only choice in the sea of possibilities. That's what blue ocean authority is. And again, when you have influence, that means that people look to you as a leader. People are looking to you as someone who they should emulate or someone they want to do business with. So I think that is just a way to look at impact and influence so that you can understand where I'm coming from when I'm trying to convey that message to you.
Not everyone. But right now we have a lot of people running around with the label of coaches or publicists. And like you said, it's easy to self-publish now compared to years ago when there was a set formula and a way to get a book out. But let's talk about making sure that you're partnering with the right person who really has that proven expertise. Because the wrong person, you may invest a lot of money there or time, and you're spinning your wheels. You're not getting the results that you want. So can we talk a little bit about that?
So if somebody came to me and said, well, how would I know? Of course, you want to talk to them directly, have a good rapport, ask them about their background. How did they get their experience? Do they have experience? But if you were to talk to a publisher, and the red flags for me and this is because a lot of people borrow from the old school publishing. A red flag in today's environment for publishers is they want to publish the book to their, if this is your private book, they want to publish it to their Kindle account, and you don't have direct control. You always want to have your own private Kindle account so that you have control if it's your book. Obviously, a collaborative book, you wouldn't have that type of control. But in your solo book, you want to upload it into your own Amazon Kindle account so that you can control the prices, you can control where it is distributed. And if you go, oh my God, I have a typo, you can fix it within minutes. Or if you wanted to change the cover, you can fix it. If a publisher has it in their account, guess what? Make a change, make a charge. And a good example is my sister had some work published, and there was an error on the cover. And it cost $250 for her to change one thing on the cover because of the publisher. So always, in this hybrid publishing environment, think about that. I want you to keep your control. Rights, copyrights. For example, when I have someone in one of my collaborative books, I say, okay, I'm going to publish this first. However, once it's published, you can use your information for your own marketing. If you wanted to use it for your blog or something, go ahead. Just let you know, you cannot publish it. You cannot have two duplicate things, like they couldn't publish it separately under their own name, just because then Amazon in their checks will go, oh, this is already copyrighted under this book. So but they could use it for any type of marketing they want. And then of course, the pricing is all over the place with publishing. There are some bigger names that will charge, 20, 30, 40, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then there's some smaller hybrids that are a lot less, but you always want to look at, well, what is it that you're getting in this project? And again, if you're a solo author, that's an entirely different scenario. If you're in a collaborative book, sometimes it's, we're going to publish your book. That's it. Make sure, do you get author credit on Amazon? Do they make you an author central page? Do they do any press? Do they do any pre-publicity, post-publicity? What is it? Do they give you graphics? Do they give you any training? Often with publishers, it's like, we'll publish your book. That's it. But when someone works with someone like me, it's like, we're going to have conversations. I'm going to talk to you about how to leverage this beyond the bestseller. Because
individuals need to understand what it is that they get, because we're talking about key partnerships. So this is a partner with that media publicist, expert, or publisher, and understanding what it is that they're bringing to the table. What is it that you're investing in? Because unless it's a free publication, more than likely you're investing, as you said, it may be only $1,000. It could be tens of thousands of dollars to be in a particular project. But what I'm finding, Tammy, is most people who jump in, and I want to just stick with collaborative books right now, they don't understand the business of the collaborative book. They celebrate, yay, I'm an author. Yay. That's a good one. It may have been a bucket list item, check. But if you said, as you said, if you want to go beyond the bestseller, if you're really looking to increase your impact and your influence and ultimately create this revenue stream, you have to understand the business of authorship. Yes. And that's kind of my lane coming in, understanding the business side of it and developing those plans, developing those strategies. So then when they have these meaningful conversations with individuals such as you, now you can adjust what it is that you're offering to meet their ultimate need. Because you said something that was pretty profound to me, to make sure that whoever you're partnering with is working with you with your best interest in mind, not that it's, this is what I want to do and this is how we're going to do it. Because I always
kind of red flag all the publicists who say press releases don't work. And I'm going, okay, you're talking about old school press releases, because now it's very difficult to send a press release out unless it's to the local newspaper. But when you use the press releases of today, you get picked up by all of the online media. It grows your online footprint, and you can have your videos embedded in them. You can have Google Maps if you're a brick and mortar company. They're not the press releases of yesteryear where you used to send them to the local paper in hopes that you'd either get a news item or they'd assign a reporter to you. But I would say look for examples, talk to them, ask them about their experience, what's your intuition, your gut take on them, because most people who are not authentic cannot keep it up. They can't keep up the facade or the persona of being the expert, because if you don't have the experience, you don't have the experience. And
can I say something real quick? I just want to interject here. So we've had our relationship for 4 years, and it's been an awesome education for me, knowing, okay, LaWanna, stay in your lane and let Tammy do what she does best. But before, and this is something you don't know, before I said yes to Blue Ocean Authority and Women Innovators Publishing, I did a test with a press release. And you said, LaWanna, I can get you in USA Today. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. I had someone else who said the same thing. Well, that person got me in, I don't know, publications I never even heard of. It was like, Waka Waka News Media. I just never, I'm like, okay, how can I use this? But you immediately produced everything that you've told me that you could do. You did. And that to me was that, and that was just my way. I said, okay, I've got two people who are saying they can offer similar things. Let's test them out. But I had the money to invest in that way. Most people don't. So I hope that those of you who are listening to Dr. Tamara, aka Tammy Patzer, are really leaning into what she's saying and understand how to vet. First, understanding what it is that you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, what kind of partner will best fit you, and then don't be afraid to ask the questions. To those of you who are joining us, we're on Power of the Pen with special guest Dr. Tammy Patzer. Thank you to our E360 TV community who are joining us, and also to those on Roku, Apple TV, Samsung TV, and who may be joining us by Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to have some time so that you can get to know Tammy a little bit more, but I want to take a little break right now. I wanted to show this because this is actually one of my books that's been in the process for quite some time. And Tammy occasionally gives me a ring or knocks on my door and says, LaWanna, hello, where are we with that book? But I bring that to your attention because it will be published under the guidance of Tammy, the Blue Ocean Authority, and Women's Innovative Publishing. But again, through just understanding what I need to do to create awareness. So this is sort of like the prequel of what's to come. And that's what her authority helps you to do. It helps you to get out of your own way, because I can be so methodical and analytical that it's analysis creates paralysis. So this book will be coming out. And I also love that she gave me and I'm not going to share this tip, but she gave me an innovative way to write this book, to create greater ease and greater impact. So I want you to hear what I just said. She's taking away the angst and giving me an innovative way to create greater ease and greater impact with the messages that are going to be in this book. And that's why I want to celebrate and just salute the brilliance that she brings to the table. Tammy, I want to take myself down right now and just give you some time to talk to the audience and share with any upcoming books that you have, collaborations that you have, and any of the training and other services that you may wish to share. Is that good?
Oh, sounds good to me. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I love that LaWanna showed you the book that she's working on. So what I've been working on is I have a lot of collaborative author opportunities, and one that would probably fit you if you are someone who is either a brand new, never been author, but you want to be recognized as an expert, or if you have been in other collaborative books, but you really want to be positioned as that expert celebrity go-to person, one of my collaborative books is called Expert Profiles. And we're actually coming up on, I think, maybe volume 17. And I do believe LaWanna was actually featured in that book at one point. But why I like Expert Profiles is because it's a book that's done in an interview style, and we focus on you and your background. And of course, we ask you questions that are designed to position you as the expert authority. And that book actually is published in both digital format and paperback format. And you're able to participate in a bestseller campaign, and it's guaranteed to become a #1 bestseller on Amazon. And we also train you on how to use that expert book and that status in your marketing, and you get press release written about it and some other media. So that would be what I would call a really good starter foundational opportunity. And then what I've been doing lately a lot of is actually media training. And I wanted to share this because it struck me the other day. I just got a new car, and it has, the free trial of Sirius XM. So I'm listening to some show, and these DJs are talking about all the famous people they've interviewed. They were talking about Madonna and just comedians, just all kinds of people who'd come into their studios. And Madonna, it struck me because they said, yeah, Madonna came in and it was obvious she did not want to be there, and she was not a good interview. And here, these people have you on their show live, and you go in and you don't want to answer any questions, or you say to them, no, I won't answer any questions. And so they're moaning and groaning about her and a bunch of other people. And I just thought that was funny because one of the DJs said, these people, it doesn't matter how famous they are, they need media training. And I'm listening, I'm going, wow, that is interesting, coming from the mouths of DJs who talk to famous people all day long over the phone or in the studio. So I actually have a media training that works really well for authors, and it includes a real appearance on television. And what it is, it's a group training, and I limit it to no more than 10 to 12 people. And we meet once a week for an hour and a half as a group. And I give you everything you need to come up with your talking points to be on a 3-minute TV interview. If you're an author or wannabe author, you could do the expert profiles and then do the media training, talking about the fact that you are an author and then you are on TV. So, and I forgot, I also interview you on one of my shows. So you get all kinds of what I call that real life experience. You're prepared. So if you have aspirations to be on a big show, and back in the day, the big show used to be, everybody wanted to be on Oprah. Big shows would be like Today, CBS This Morning, Good Morning America, or The Doctors, or whatever the shows are now, Tamara Hall. So those, I think if you're thinking about, I just would like to be in a collaborative book, and I really want to be known as an expert. I want to share my big message, my big mission, and do that, then the expert profiles would be a really good opportunity. And I actually have an expert profiles coming out in October now. It comes out quarterly. So no matter when you're listening to this interview, that will always be an opportunity. And like I said, we're up to, I think, volume 16 or 17 now. And normally what makes this project better than many collaborative books is that typically there's only 7 to 10 people in each book. The interviews are all done. I do the interviews personally. And of course, that means that we're going to have a good conversation about what it is that we want to do to position you. And then, of course, it has the built-in marketing with the international bestseller campaign, and the pre and post press releases go with it, and graphics. And then if you wanted to do the media training with the TV, that literally will prepare you not only for TV, because if you can do something in 3 minutes, guess what? You can now do interviews that are 5, 10, 20, a half an hour, all the way to a keynote address, because you have boiled your talking points and your message down into very succinct messages that are easy to expand on with additional stories and the power of that. So that's what I would say. And again, I have many more opportunities, but the Expert Profiles book and then the media training for Guaranteed TV would be just, either one of those would be the perfect opportunity for anyone.
And when you have solid partnerships that are built on trust, then it starts to evolve into something more. Then you can actually say, I can call this person friend because I truly trust Tammy with my message. And that's kind of hard to do because my message has my name around it. The Bradford Group is my name. It's who I am. So I don't trust it freely with anyone. And I say that to just say that she is a woman of integrity, a woman who delivers what she says she's going to do, but also a woman who has proven results again and again and again. I mean, this bestseller, I got to put it up here, campaign that you can be a part of, this collaborative book, Expert Profiles, volume 17. Hello. Why would she have 17 if it didn't have proven success records, right? She has a track record. So if you want to be a part of a book where you can tell your story, reach out and just get the information, right, Tammy?
Yeah, and I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. I mean, you can find me under either my full name, Tamara Patzer, or under Tammy, Tami. But I've been out there long enough that you can find all kinds of interviews I've done, and I have a lot of what I would call a mom energy. I mean, I will work with you so that you feel comfortable and confident, and you will see that transformation. A lot of the work that we do with messaging and marketing, really, it's about developing that confidence so that you can go speak and, really show the world who you are. And I think that's really important, that that when you do your book, when you do your marketing, it's personal development, because you will become a more confident speaker, a more confident person, and you will grow your income because you will also open up all of this positive energy and attract really good things to you because you're like on the right path, your personal path.
I love that. I'm going to show one small ad, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Tammy to give the closing remarks before we sign out, because we're almost out of time. So this is for if you want to be a guest on Power of the Pen. I'll tell you a little bit how you can do that.
Wow.
All right. Well, Tammy, I'm going to give you 1 minute to leave any lasting golden nuggets for our viewing audience.
Okay, so take the opportunity that LaWanna just offered to be a guest on Power of the Pen. That would be your first step of creating a foundation. If you are an author and want to be on TV or be on podcasts or leverage that author status, contact me and we'll just have a conversation about how to do it. And if you're not an author yet and you're like, wow, I'd really like to be known as an expert, reach out about that and we'll do the Expert Profiles book. It's extremely affordable and you get a lot of marketing with it. And let me tell you, when you are on TV, that is instant authority and everything I do is guaranteed. And like LaWanna said, I have a proven track record. So just contact me. It's really easy, TammyPatzer.com, Facebook, LinkedIn. Reach out and we'll just have a great conversation. Thank you, LaWanna.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for being a part of Power of the Pen, our key resource for you and our viewing audience. Please reach out to Tammy and have the conversation. It doesn't cost you anything to have a conversation. And I promise you will not be sorry. And to our listening audience, thank you so much for joining us again, as always, on E360 TV. Those in our streaming platform, thank you. Facebook viewers, Roku, Apple TV, and Samsung TV. Join us every week on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for Power of the Pen. Remember that your voice matters. Take up the power of the pen. And as always, in life and in business, when opportunity intersects with your vision, success is inevitable. Until next time. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, LaWanna.